A very good evening to you. I'm Pearson Bowen. It appears work on the much talked about and highly anticipated Pierhead Marina in historic Bridgetown could be undertaken this year. According to Peter Gilks, a consultant to the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated, it's a facility the Minister of Finance and Tourism and other key players want to see come to fruition. He tells CBC News it's the only facility Barbados is lacking as it develops its yachting industry.
Once we have the marina, as Howard said as well, we can then attract bigger yachts. We have a problem this year in that some of the boats that we are attracting have too much depth in draft and can't get into the inner basin. So we are having to find places to put them. That's a nice problem to have. But the next solution is to get in the marina that when we have yachts of that caliber, that they can go to the marina and be accommodated.
Mr. Gilks, a former senator, says support for the yachting industry has grown since 2008 and there are obvious benefits for Barbados.
In 2013, we hosted the 505 Worlds. We had the co-founder of SAP Software here. SAP spent over $1 million in Barbados in setup and so on. Nothing to do with the dollar spend of the competitors. The one person's hotel room bill was $290,000. Our investment was $300,000 as the BTA investment. So I mean, if from that basis, you can see that there are many positive spin-offs from it.
And race coordinator of the Round Barbados Race Series, Howard Palmer, welcomes efforts to construct the new marina, telling Barbados there is vast potential in the yachting sector.
You've got money spent right through the whole spectrum of people, from supermarkets to the fruit ladies to go into Baxter's Road. And sailors are also adventurous by nature. So they will find the rum shop, they will find Baxter's Road, you know, they will much more adventurous than, say, the average cruise ship passenger. I think everybody knows that, and they do spend money. You know, you've crossed the Atlantic, you come to Barbados, you got a few dollars in your pocket, you want to enjoy yourself.
While there are some fears that lower oil prices may be bad news for the local renewable energy sector, one company says it has actually led to savings. Simon Richards is the managing director of renewable energy technology company Mega Power, and he says the lower prices have resulted in the full charge for an electric vehicle dropping from $15 to $10. The company recently brought in new electric charging stations with the assistance of the Caribbean Export Development Agency that will cut the charge time in half.
Yeah, what we have here is the ChargeMaster Type 2 chargers. These chargers will charge any electric vehicle currently available for sale globally, and they'll charge cars like the Nissan Leaf in 3 hours. The Compete Caribbean parts funded these chargers to come to Barbados really as a trial for the whole of the Caribbean. So we've got about 3, 4, there's actually five of these now in Barbados, and they'll be live and operational by the end of this month, end of January.
Mr. Richards says the new charging stations also come with additional features that will make it more convenient for electric car owners.
The technology inside is quite exciting, so we've teamed up with Digicel, and they've got little modems inside which will enable us to track who's using them and actually enter into a billing system, so we can actually charge or capture revenue from people using the charging stations moving forward. But don't worry, they're not going to be very expensive to use at all. Typical charge is around $10 to $15 in Barbados, which is obviously a fraction of the cost of filling up a gas-powered car.
Barbadians are still generating too much garbage. That assertion from Environment Minister Dr. Dennis Lowe, who is hoping to see some change this year. But he says while the SSA's resources remain stretched, they remain committed to the task at hand.
We encourage citizens to recognize that the volume of waste around this time is almost exorbitant, and it will take a little bit more time to get to certain areas. But I give them the assurance that we are mindful of the work that needs to be done. We are also mindful of the constraints under which we work. But at the end of the day, our intention, our commitment, and our drive is to keep Barbados a clean and healthy place, not only for our residents, but for our visitors as well.
A Christchurch man is expected to appear at the Oistins Magistrates Court tomorrow morning on a murder charge. He is 31-year-old Rinaldo Carter of First Avenue, Vauxhall, Christchurch. The police say Carter is charged in relation to the shooting death of Jason Carter of the same address. That incident occurred on New Year's Day at their home. Lawmen say Carter is also charged with unlawful possession of ammunition without a valid permit. Well, more news coming up after the break, but first we'd like to hear from you on this question. Do you think the Pearhead project would be a major foreign exchange earner for Barbados? Text yes or no to the short code 8111. The results at the end of the news.
Make this Christmas a delicious Byco Christmas. Treat yourself and the family to all flavors of Double Delight 5-liter sizes at $57.99 and all 2.5-liter sizes at just $36.99 VAT inclusive. And just in time for the season, Byco Christmas Pudding Ice Cream is now available. Get yours today. This offer available for a limited time only from participating retailers, Byco Mobilers, and Byco Direct Outlet. Merry Christmas from Byco.
The Central Bank of Barbados and the Frank Collymore Literary Endowment invite you to its 17th annual awards. Keynote speaker Sherwin Walters will speak on Partners in Multifocus Journey, the writer and the society again, at the Grand Salle Tom Adams Financial Center on Saturday, January 10th at 6 p.m.
This graveyard is again representative of the mercantile elite of Bridgetown over the centuries.
And one wonders about the stories and the lives of these men who were so important that in those very early days they could command a tablet that was 5 feet tall and 3 feet wide in their memory.
Tales from the Tombs on CBC TV8 and on the internet via the worldwideweb.cbc.bb, Sunday at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Caribbean Time. Tales from the Tombs.
A showcase of creative talent intended to raise environmental awareness is nearing completion in Warrens. As we hear now in this Dale Ford report, when finished, it could become the island's newest attraction.
The eye-catching and educational work of art on the wall of CIBC First Caribbean's corporate headquarters in Warrens is expected to be completed soon. It's going to be the largest mosaic wall mural in Barbados, transforming about 4,500 square feet of the wall into a creative work of art. The project is a collaboration between the bank and the environmental lobbying agency, the Future Center Trust. The lead artist is FTC Director David Spieler. He started the process by drawing the images on the wall. But this mural involves a lot more than that, as Tyler Troy Young explains.
We're working with different colors, so we will know exactly. For instance, there's a tree. So the green will go in here. These will be leaves. And this will be the bark. Right? So basically, we're working off a picture. So actually, the whole thing is a picture, and we're doing it in stages of it as we go.
The mural captures powerful messages about Barbados' marine life, its ecosystem, and the importance of preserving it. Troy says the intention is to make it as realistic as possible.
Using green, sorry, blue for the sky, using the mixed green, which is a dark green and a lighter green for the middle, and then we're using pottery for the bottom as the ground. So a variation of different colors for the ground, a mixed green for the middle, and blues for the sky.
The different edges on the tiles create a textured effect, and matching the tiles to create each particular pattern is a skill in itself. Troy's partner, Dwayne Goddard, says it's his first time working on such a project. He calls it an inspirational work of art.
Made me feel great, put more inspiration in things that we'll have to do in life. Made me feel good.
Already, people traversing the area are showing a lot of interest in the mural. It's expected to be completed next month. Dale Ford for CBC News.
Have you been suffering from regular fainting spells where you've lost consciousness maybe for a brief moment? Well, you may be living with a condition called syncope. The condition was a topic of discussion on today's Morning Barbados. Now, even though the condition itself is not life-threatening, Dr. Adrian Lord says some people who suffer with syncope may live with a sense of fear because they don't know when it will occur. He's saying there are a number of things that can be done to diagnose a person with syncope, starting with a medical history.
You don't remember when you faint, but you might remember just before. You check the person's blood pressure, or you get a witness of someone who was there when you fainted to make sure that it's just a simple syncope and not a seizure, or not a heart attack or whatever. So the blood pressure should be checked, your pulse, your heart. Check for anemia, and I will check your blood count, check your blood sugar, because that also could be causing syncope, and a heart test, ECG, electrocardiogram. You may want to go on to do the echocardiogram, because if you have a heart arrhythmia where the heart is not beating regularly or beating too fast, enough blood is not coming from the heart to send that perfusion to the brain, then there are other things you do, CAT scan or MRI of the brain.
Dr. Lord also gave some advice on how people should respond when a person has a fainting spell.
First thing is not to go for such smelling salts, and don't crowd the person. As you say, give the person some oxygen, keep the person lying flat where possible, remove any tight clothing, and lower the head wherever possible. Get the blood to flow to the brain. That is whatever. Usually when you faint, and I'm one who has fainted before, it's important to get that blood.
You suffer with syncope?
I hadn't bad one or two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We won't go into details of what caused it at the time, but it was not alcohol.
No, it wasn't that.
But yeah, so you loosen your clothing because you're sweating and so on, and raise the legs and lower the head to get that happen. And usually within seconds, minutes, the person is back up. And what happened to me?
A group of fire officers is going beyond the call of duty to help those in the community. The team started its initiative by making a presentation to fire victim Robert Howard. He lost his Wilde home in November 2013. Group member Richelle Griffith told CBC News that the gift basket presented contained food and personal items. She also explained how the group came up with the idea.
It all happened when I saw Mr. Howard. He was asking for a donation because he had a house fire, but during that time I allowed him to speak, and I told him that I knew about the story because I happened to be on duty the day he came to the station for the letter. And in saying that, I called everyone that's here and asked them, because we are also looking to engage in other projects and activities, and I told them about his situation, so everyone just pitched in.
Ms. Griffith says that throughout the year, they'll be hoping to continue their efforts with monthly initiatives. Regional news next, but first a reminder, we'd like to hear from you on this question. Do you think the Pearhead project would be a major foreign exchange earner for Barbados? Text yes or no to the short code 8111, the results at the end of the news. Also follow CBC News on Twitter at CBC_Barbados. Facebook is CBC News Barbados. Now here's a tip from the Coverley Medical Center.
Heart disease can lead to a stroke or heart attack. A cardiac risk assessment, or CRA, will determine whether you are at risk in the next 5 years.
What up? This is Al Winton. I live and living it up.
We play a very important role as far as kids are concerned. A lot of kids